good afternoon. It is Wednesday, 28th of April. I'm back in the Region Nook on what is a bright and breezy, if slightly cool afternoon, but of course I have a nice hot cup of tea. And along with that, I have a parcel to unbox, so let's get to it. Okay, let's... Okay, so this out. Oh, this is quite bright. So what we've got is the Party RPG, The Rise of Burden Bluggerbuckle, the role-playing party game. Let's see if there's anything. Nope. Okay, so what we've got here, so a party game like no other. A raucous, fun-filled fantasy adventure smashing together tabletop role-playing games and hilarious party games. Get your friends together, stuck up on mead, and have an epic day in. Promises to be easy, simple and easy to play, master the game in minutes, not hours. A counter and ensemble cast of wacky characters including orcs who just want to be loved, trolls with a dangerous fascination for obstacle courses, and hippie gnomes. Create your own customizable character, give your character a name, an interesting backstory, and customize it with skill, attributes, weapons, shields, armor, and magical items. Let your imagination run wild. Imagine crazy solutions to environmental challenges, fight in epic battles, and play out loud, laugh out loud party games including Squawky Pig, Hard-Boiled Egg, and a Witch Queen's talent show. Hours of fun, over 15 hours of gameplay with 6 main quests, 5 side quests, and 16 locations to play through. And this is published by the Party RPG Publishing. So that's completely like any other. You know, you're just thinking, okay, what is this? So what we've got inside, it says, you know, okay, setting up the game, prepare your imagination for its ultimate challenge. Hints and reminders of these rules are given throughout the game, don't worry. What do you need to start? The Rise of Burden Buggle Book, which is this. Player character sheets, dice, use the digital dice or any 3-6-sided dice, a squad, 3 to 6 players recommended, a pen, and so on, you know. And yeah, and essentially, you've got essentially the total game can take 10 to 15 hours, option marathon session, play in multiple days. Yeah, basic quick guide to the character. And it's a bit, I would say, my first impression is sort of like, wow, that's sort of like, you know, exciting, and that's not. First impressions. Essentially, your objective: save the Great Plains by completing main quests. Yeah. So you've got a guide for the referee, all the games master, and explains how to play, and there's the rules there. Okay, dice roll examples, combat tips and retreating, and then get to the quest that begins. And okay, that's a bit more interesting. Nice simple art, but basically character. It's basically, you know, sort of like interesting and not entirely serious with that. And you've got different sections of of different adventures and so on here. So yeah, lots of different things to do in here. Things like, you know, 1,000 Crazy Hens. Now that's a great title. I like that. You basically, that ultimately grabs you. You know, that's an encounter you never imagine you're going to have. What are you going to do about 1,000 Crazy Hens? Or Valley of the One-Eyed Troll. I mean, that's a bit more fantasy you would expect. But it will be interesting to see quite what they do with this. So yeah, not heavily illustrated, very cleanly laid out. And the interesting thing is, this is meant to be played. I mean, basically, so we've got right, okay. So right. So you've got an encounter with the character who says, "I was the world champion egg." So you don't know what that is, and basically the players ask, and the ref J Master says, "Well, he says, I used to play in a hard-boiled egg leagues where the toughest souls across the plains would prove their mettle. Human, orc, elf name did not matter. A creed only determination, and I was determined. I can see you possess similar levels of determination. Perhaps you should challenge me." Okay. So real life action required. Now this isn't sat around the table. This is you in the living room or the lounge and so on. Okay. Choose a squad member to curl up as an egg on the floor. The rest of the squad have 30 seconds to break the egg, forcing them to uncurl. You cannot use physical violence, but may tickle the bejesus out of them. Now, I would basically an automatic warning there, okay, about physical boundaries. This is a game, basically, which will be using party-style games to achieve quests, which is interesting, and that's fine in the right. In the right group, and it's probably in some ways probably not even necessarily suited to a role-playing group where they're used to sat around the table. This is more aimed at sort of like a family group where and friends where they would be used to playing party games and that sort of thing. But yeah, but it's not all like that. Because there are still things you can do in the game, like you would a standard role-playing game. It's just essentially, let's have a look. See, they do use the colour boxes for purposes I'd like would be interesting. So it's a look like so you've got red, green, blue, and perhaps I'm looking for an explanation of that, but it doesn't. It's not necessarily clear. So for example, I think red is basically directions to go to a particular page and so on. Purple is essentially real life action, and then you've got sort of like end of level section there. So yeah, I mean, a party games like real life action. One squad member must silently dance out a song of the game master's choosing. The squad have 1 minute to correctly guess the song. Props are allowed. Continue reading when complete. Yeah, okay. I can see this not being everyone's cup of tea, to be honest. But it's different. It adds a degree of physicality and action and miming and singing and dancing and that sort of thing that you wouldn't normally get in a role-playing game, and that's fine. I mean, I'm sure there will be groups that will have fun with this. So yeah, multiple stories, multiple quests, lots of things for the characters to do. Let's just check. We've got an inventory. It's quite an extensive inventory section of shields and items. Basically, long list of weapons. Whether or not I don't know whether you'd be interested to see whether how they're used in the game. Obviously, not for the real life action required. And then you've got all the essentially a summary of the quests at the end there. And when all 5 are complete, the squad gets first level, gets +1 level. And you've got a good check of all the non-player characters in the back. And these are the character sheets. So what you've got is a quick description of sort of like your stats and just the easy way to write the numbers. You just circle the numbers, and then character hit points, level, and XP tracker is just there. Just sort of goes. You're just going down and ticking them off and saying, okay, I'm X level and I've got that, and adding the bonus there straight on the character sheet. And then on the back you do have essentially, here's a guide to how to set your character up. and the basics of the character. So there's a full explanation on the character sheet for people, you know, not new to this, but anybody who is just going to will quickly understand this. And then the Games Master has his own her reference sheet at the back. And then you've got a map of the world. There we go, basically where the quests are and so on. I like the artwork in here, it's nice and quirky. I'd like to have seen perhaps more of it in the book. It's kind of used in, it's quite small, I would suggest. So yeah, 16 quests, adventures, you know, and I can see this sort of being used as a crossover between sort of party games and standard role-playing, for a group that sort of like wants to experiment a little and go on try something different. So yeah, I will review this in due course. That's the party RPG. I will look forward to it, sort of digging into that and seeing what that's like and having a review up in a few weeks. So yes, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below, and if you have any comments or feedback, then I do take the time to read and respond. And of course, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, please do subscribe, and then you'll get me again with another book and another cup of tea, chatting away at you in the garden. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Bye for now.